I'm a loving, good person. How dare you not like me? It's all part of a cynical takeover move. And I doubt even this Renfield, servant of the damned, even knows what he's part of. I do know. And quite frankly, I know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? And I mean, it's torture, folks. I know what they're thinking, what they're doing, how they're operating. I know their plans. I can't stand it anymore. I just cannot believe the public has no idea what's all around them. And I've been proven over and over again. I told you Beck 8 years ago was a Democrat operative, 9 years ago. Yeah, it was 10 years ago. Wow, back when, yeah, 2007. It's 9 years ago. I don't take pleasure in some other big talk show host being a horrible Benedict Arnold. I want to admire people. I mean, Hannity's been getting better and better, so I've said, good job, Hannity. Limbaugh does a lot of good work. I disagree with his warmongering stuff, but I don't just bash people because I'm mad that they've got a bigger house than I do. I could care less. I care about what's right. And it's painful to look at Glenn Beck's fallen nature and just how evil he is. He loves conning his listeners and viewers. And loves, you know, working for the system to try to lead the Patriot movement into hell. And now that he's failed on Cruz, he's openly running back like Wormer Grimetongue from the Lord of the Rings allegory back to Saruman's castle. I mean, he's with Zuckerberg. I've got the article, bad-mouthing conservatives and defending Facebook. You knew that was coming. So now they can force-feed him to the Facebook audience. But watch, I predict they're only going to force-feed him in attacks on other conservatives and patriots. They're not going to even promote his so-called empire. And where he really gives himself away is when he brags about how he knows the establishment people and how he meets with them and how he's going to resurrect himself because he's hiring all these corporate people and the people from American Idol and the guy that made Oreos. He actually is proud of that. I mean, if Trump wins, I'm invited to the White House, I ain't going. Because of the optics. I'm not with the establishment. Even if Trump turns out to be true, still, I'm not going to the White House. This guy loves the fact he went to the White House to meet with Bush. You're a joke. You think this fallen world, this polished fecal matter is something to worship. All right, Larry Nichols is our guest for the next 30, 40 minutes or so. Then I'm going to get into economic news, military news, election 2016 news, and so much more. This whole transsexual movement is actually a cover for a pedophile takeover. And I want to be clear, I don't think people that are confused and think they're a man or a woman are bad people. I'm not saying they're even the pedophile movement, okay? Because some people say that none of this ever happens naturally because of chemicals in the water, things that are going on. This does happen even to other mammal species, fish, amphibians, you name it. But it's more than that. In most cases, it's people confusing children about their sexuality when they're young, and it's an excuse to sexualize children, and that's what's going on with Salon promoting pedophilia, with major newspapers like the Charlotte Observer saying girls must overcome discomfort at seeing male genitals in the locker room, as they now announce from the 6th grade up, all over the country this is happening in different areas, boys and girls taking showers in the locker room together. Folks, this is a total assault. There's another story up on Infowars.com. Tranny Michelle Obama lookalike causes confusion in public restroom. Isn't that an oxymoron to say a tranny Michelle Obama lookalike? Isn't that one and the same? Michael Obama? That's what Obama says over and over again. And I love trolling the mainstream media every time I say that. They pick it up all over the news. Tranny Michelle Obama lookalike thrown out of women's restroom. Incident sparks bathroom debate and discussion over Michelle Obama. That's up on Infowars.com by Kid Daniels. We've got a report on DrudgeReport.com that I'm going to play clips of after our guest leaves us at about 40 after. Angry mob surrounds Trump supporter. It's much worse than that. It's a strong headline, but it's even crazier. Bernie and Hillary backers surrounded a Trump supporter in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, and demonstrated just how little they know about the world. Vile protesters threaten Trump supporters. We can't play a lot of it. There's so much cussing. And it just illustrates the type of garbage we're really dealing with here and how anti-free speech they are. Great job to our crew, Josh Owens and Michael Zimmerman, out there braving the AIDS Skrillex of the world. Now, we also have the Pope coming out in more articles and speeches saying Christianity has bad roots in Europe, shouldn't say that. ISIS is just like Jesus. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. We're going to be getting into that as well. But I want to cover election 2016 news right now with former Green Beret, a lot of clandestine operations around the world. That's how he ended up getting hooked up with the Clintons and their operations for the CIA there in Arkansas. And he was their handler, helped get him into office. And for many years, as they were co-governor and governess, and I'm just recapping his own testimony here, and he's the guy that was behind the Clinton Chronicles and the rape information, and Paula Jones. I mean, there's two people you can say that have been on the Clintons more than anybody, and that would be Matt Drudge and Larry Nichols. There have been a lot of other folks as well, but you could say Chris Ruddy in the early days, but it's certainly Matt Drudge, and it's important to know the history here, and of course Larry Nichols. Larry would not be involved in, in the killing of neighborhood kids and things that saw the drugs being shipped in, things like that. So he hit his knees, repented, and now for, I don't know, 25 years, 24 years, has been after the Clintons. And Bill has even told the New York Times, he's one guy he's scared of is Larry Nichols. He has predicted how they'd steal the election from Bernie, or try to. He has predicted that they would, so far, not indict Hillary. They're even talking about now, well, if it's classified, how do we indict her and release the emails? So we're going to talk about his latest intel, where he sees all of this going. And the good news here, Trump destroys Hillary in under 3 weeks, now leading in 2 national polls and more. That's on Infowars.com, an information liberation article. Those are big scientific polls. We'll talk about the provenance of those polls in a moment. But he's taking the gloves off, and the Clintons aren't used to this. They say, oh, my gosh, Donald Trump asked good-looking women out at cocktail parties when he's not married. And he told one girlfriend, lose some weight for that bathing suit. Turned out she never said that. So, hey, baby, you're getting a little fat there. That's his crime versus settling rape cases. So we're going to get to the bottom of this right now and tell you what's coming next with Larry Nichols. And Larry is on oxygen. He does have lung cancer. He doesn't like to talk about it. And he is the latter stage and is battling for his life just to stay alive. To fight the globalists. He lost basically everything he had after he went up against the Clintons. He could have gone to Washington with them the whole 9 yards, so please keep him in your prayers, and we'll also give out a PayPal at the end of the interview for folks that want to try to get him more of the therapy he needs. And he said it before, if we wouldn't have gotten him the help, you wouldn't have gotten him the help, he'd already be gone. He'd like to talk about what he's been through, but this guy has been resuscitated, you name it. He is a tough patriot, and he's in his final real mission for the Republic right now. In fact, Larry Nichols, we ought to have you on sometime just about your experience in the Special Forces back when they were really special. They're still amazing and see even more combat on average than what you guys saw. But you were actually in Africa and I guess in Latin America and all over, a lot of clandestine stuff before you got recruited over into the CIA's Dixie Mafia operation. But, man, I tell you, am I right in saying you're really fighting for the Republic now more than ever? Isn't this, the last 25 years, your real mission, sir?
Alex, this has been, and I'm sorry about the noise. I normally don't like to have the oxygen on when I do the interview, but
it's
I've
okay.
got to this time.
It's okay, brother. There's no noise.
This has been, of all the places I've been, of all of the combat action I've been in, there's been nothing tougher than fighting the Clintons politically, fighting the establishment politically, because remember, Alex, you and I were fighting the establishment before it was cool. People didn't believe us, that it was all rigged. Well, now they see what we've been talking about. Let's just pray that it's not too late. That's all we can do.
Well, brother, you got the floor here. Let's. I throw out a lot of topics. You want to jump into one of those, or what's most important on your screen?
Oh, my God. I heard the commercial coming on where you were talking about, getting prepared. Let me just throw this in right now. As you know, Alex, there are things I know about that I can't talk about because of contracts and such. But, folks, you better get ready. Now, Alex, I don't know what you sell, but I hope the hell you sell stuff people need to have at least on hand, a month minimum, 2 to 6 months, preferably, because this thing's fixing to go down. It's going to go down hard. Just for example, Saudi Arabia, they started paying their contractors with IOUs. Saudi Arabia's banks got their ratings dropped by Moody's. Do you know why? Connected to the same problem that one of our 5 major banks has that's going to start cascading in this country. They were so heavily leveraged in American treasuries that it caused their ratings to go down. So I'm telling you guys, it's happening out there. We're the only people in the world that do not know, Alex, the seriousness.
That's right. The global default has already begun. We're putting articles on screen. You're right. It all started 6 months ago with the Royal Bank of Scotland saying sell everything, or 5 months ago. That's why the elite just don't seem to care and are so arrogant now.
That's right. So I'm just saying, just to start the program off, folks, do your family and yourselves a favor. Get supplies, water, food, iodine. I mean,
firearms.
These are the
firearms people need. If you don't have firearms, folks, go get a shotgun, a revolver, go take lessons at the local gun range, learn how to use them. Guns are so easy to use, folks, and you need to learn how to use them.
And just remember this, because I've tried to always tell you all the truth in advance. This thing, when it happens, this country will go primal. Primal. And you better be ready. Dear God, you better be ready. Now, on the election front, they're not going to indict Hillary. You know that now. No way. And the thing people don't realize, you see all of this stuff, folks, about Obama's negative ratings, Hillary's negative ratings. Let me tell you, a Clinton campaign, and I know because I designed it. The Clintons are not going to try to make you like her. Do you understand that, folks? The Clintons are not going to try to convince America to like Hillary. That's not going to happen. What they're going to do is they're going to take 60 to 70% of their money, and they're going to use it to make you hate Trump. That's how it will go. Now, that's assuming, of course, 6 days before the convention, Trump still gets the nomination. So I'm just telling you, the Clintons are going to be the damnedest thing. I'm sorry to say that. It's going to be the most. You think Trump's been through it tough. He has no idea what he's fixing to go through when he gets in the general campaign against Hillary. They are going to take him off at the knees, and they've got a willing mainstream media and just about everybody else to help them do it. Now, this is where I come in, Alex. My job with the stuff that I've had all of these years that you know I've had, I'm not going to tell anybody. If they're not going to indict Hillary, somebody out there surely figured this out. If they're not going to indict Hillary over the email scandal and servers and all of that, then why on earth would you think with the things I have that they would be indicting her? They're not. That's not what I'm out to do. What I will do, and I'm trained to do this, and I train them to do this, I will make sure that the majority of the money that they plan to spend to destroy Donald Trump, they're going to have to spend it, Alex, fighting the things I bring out. Now, how am I going to do it when the mainstream's not going to touch it? Well, I guess, buddy, you know how I'm going to do it. I'll be looking at you. I'll be looking at the audience. We're going to have to spread the word. We're going to have to do.
Well, we've done it with Roger Stone also on their attack on women, because we knew they'd come after Trump with that, and that's been somewhat effective. I mean, the mainstream media, though, is so discredited now. I agree they're ganging up on Trump. They've been caught, but that tends to backfire on them. They're not as strong as they once were, Larry.
They're not as strong as they once were, but you still have to realize if you take all of them, I watch this closely every day nearly. If you take all of the if you take all of the 24-hour news networks and you add up their listenership, it comes out to about 3, maybe certain hours of a day, maybe 4 million tops audience. But you take the worst TV network during prime time, the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS.